Hey guys, in today's video, I pretty much have a little concept for you guys to see. This concept was shown by Zedge. He told me that he had a cool concept that I could show off in a video, and I figured why not show this to you guys. Keep in mind, this is just a concept, which means this isn't like 100% good or whatnot. It really all depends on the situation of like the server you're playing on, the map seed, which obviously brings to the placements of like the icebergs and how they actually look and how flat they are and all that type of stuff. But I figured I'd still give you guys the idea, so if you come up with anything better, you guys can do some pretty cool stuff with it. Basically what I'm going to do is go through all the negative things about this and all the positive things, so pretty much everything about it that I know of from my knowledge, which hopefully can help you guys come up with some other cool stuff about this concept. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video. I know I've probably said this a lot, but seriously, thank you guys so much for all the likes and subscribes and all that type of stuff lately. I noticed that I've grown so much in the last couple of weeks, which is absolutely insane, so I truly appreciate it. Anyways, like I said, enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so I'm going to go straight into this and show you exactly what the concept is. So let's go ahead and do this as an example to begin with. So let's go ahead and just put down a couple twigs just like that. Now the first thing about this is, let's say you had multiple twig foundations all around just like this. This is probably the least helpful one, but it's still something to consider if you had a really big like iceberg type thing that you can build on. This thing could come in handy. Basically, this is just like an extra thing you can do. Let's say someone were to build up, alright? Let's go ahead and build all the way up. Hopefully we can actually do this without messing up, because the iceberg is obviously glitchy, as you can see. Oh, whatever, we'll just skip it. Doesn't really matter at this point. There we go. So as you can see, we built all the way up. Obviously, it doesn't look too good right here, but let's just say it's possible to get all the way up. Now, basically, what you would want to do is you would damage these all differently around, just like that, on every foundation. Maybe hit each one of these once. Okay, we broke it, but yeah, you get the point. Basically, you would damage each of these triangle foundations a little bit. What this will basically do, as we know, the twig foundation actually takes 2 hours for it to decay, according to the Rust wiki. So if you had a bunch of these and you damage them all differently, in that span of 2 hours, they would automatically randomly decay. What that means is that if anybody tried to build all the way up and maybe gave up, or if somebody actually managed to build all the way up, all of the sudden at any time, at any random point, if it decays, so this is a little example, if it decays just like that, it will actually destroy all the ladders that are connected to each other. So if there is no gap, just like over here, there is a gap, so it's not actually going to destroy the ones on the bottom. So that is the first thing I wanted to show. That is basically the concept, is the twig destroying all of the ladders, which we all know ladders aren't the easiest thing to get. You got to do a lot of components farming and stuff like that, so it can be a pain when you come here with a specific amount. Let's say somebody comes here with like 20 ladders. Well, chances are they won't be able to do it twice. The second thing, which is personally my favorite, let's go ahead and build all the way around just like that. This is basically what you would do. You would build all the way around. So at this point, if you can't build anymore, what you would do is you would just do this, and then you would place down some twig foundations just like that. You would destroy this, and then you would just build a wall like that, and then you would continue it just like this. And if you can't, you do the same thing. It can be a little bit of a pain, but it'd be worth it in my opinion, as you're not going to build like a huge basin here. All I would do is like a 2x2, and it would basically be a storage. That's all I would really do in this iceberg, just like that, and then you can surround it all the way around. I'm not gonna go all the way around right now because it would take me way too much time, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna explain what you would do. So basically, you would want to upgrade all of these foundations just like that. You don't need to upgrade the ones on the back. That would just be extra, which would be kind of annoying. By the way, I do want to mention this would be a ton easier on a modded server, of course, as there is TPs, and obviously getting resources is a lot easier. And personally, in my opinion, I would never ever waste my time building on an iceberg and having to travel and stuff like that solo on a vanilla server. I would only use it as a storage as if I were to be in like a big clan with a lot of resources, or if I were to play solo on a modded server or with a couple of friends. So now at this point, you would basically go ahead and build all the way around like I said. Alright, so this is a cool part. So if we were to build from bottom to top just like this, let's go ahead and try to find an angle here, since it's so hard to do this on this iceberg. But yeah, if we were to build all the way up just like that, I'm not gonna make it perfect because you guys already know what happens to all the bottom ones, and then we go from the side, I guess, if it would work. just like that. Basically, as we know, it will actually shoot through the twig if you have a turret right over here. So what you would want to do is that you would actually want to place down a turret just like that, and then the turret will shoot through the twig, and what happens if it shoots through the twig will destroy the ladders completely, just like that. So a turret is always gonna be handy for this. This is why I would only do this on a modded server or if I was rich, because a turret is basically what's gonna save you from being offline raided. I think this is gonna be one of the best solutions to never get offline raided, because as you just saw, if somebody tries to build all the way up and they get shot by the turret, not only will they fall all the way down to the water, but of course they won't even be able to get all the way back up because the ladders will completely destroy since they're connected to each other. So that is just going to be a huge pain for the raiders, and at that point they would most likely just quit. Now for spots like these, what I would do is I would place down some high externals and stuff like that all around the iceberg, just so that they can't actually get over here. Even if they do, as we fall through the map, actually I do have another solution. Basically you would place down a flamethrower right here, because obviously you might not want to spend another turret on that, but yeah, flamethrower might do the trick. It'll shoot through that and it will break it. It is pretty much the same thing. Like I said, this isn't flawless. This is just a concept that I'm showing to you guys in hopes that maybe you guys can find some cooler stuff and so on. So here are the downsides. Of course, it'll cost you a lot of wood to be able to go all the way around the iceberg. Of course, that may be an issue for you. Another downside is that it is quite difficult to build all the way around when you always have to do this, since it's not a complete flat surface. You might always have to do that, and even then it might not actually work. So in that case, it can make it a lot more annoying. Obviously I don't have the most perfect iceberg, but either way it is still quite difficult. But like I said, this is just a concept. Another downside, which I found most important, is that people, if they were to come with their clan to raid you, obviously what they can do is shoot out the twigs so that they don't have to go through the trouble of having to rebuild completely with their ladders, because I'm pretty sure they would quit if all their ladders broke on their way up and they would have no more ladders to build up. So they would have to go back to the land. They'll most likely have a raid base there, and then from that raid base they'll have to try this again. I just feel like it'd be way too much of a pain to do. That is pretty much the concept that I wanted to show you guys. If you have some better ideas and you'd like to share it, I highly suggest you put it in the comments, because I'm sure others would like to know some better ways that you can protect yourself from being offline raided, as that's pretty much the whole video, is how to avoid getting offline raided. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the support lately. Like I said, that's pretty much it. Peace.